All right, let's talk some New Orleans Saints. And I was kind of questioning if I wanted to make this video because, at first I was just 100% going to make the video. But then with Derek Carr's injury, I was like, well, maybe I should hold off on it. But I don't know. I think it's an interesting topic to talk about. Of course, Carr hopefully will come back before too long. Going to miss a couple weeks. But anyway, let's talk about the Saints. And really, I want to talk about the Saints' deep shots here because that was kind of the story of the game. They were throwing the deep shot on every drive. I mean, they were constantly at least taking a shot down the field. And I want to talk about kind of the strategy there and how things could go right or wrong in the future doing this. So, yeah, let's talk about it. What happened here? Well, first, we got to start off with this one. Worth mentioning, the Saints had kind of had a nice methodical drive here, getting inside the 40 against the Kansas City Chiefs. And it's funny because I think the biggest bad deep shot is going to be one that actually wasn't intended to be a deep shot, but I still have some critiques on this. So you see the concept on the screen. You have a receiver running a deep shot, another one running a route that's kind of going to go more towards the sideline. Carr takes the snap, and hey, there's pressure right away. People always blame the offensive line for the pressure. This is actually a blitz. Alvin Kamara kind of getting lit up right here, so doing his best. Hey, sometimes you got to take the hit. The teams want you to take the hit and not the running back, or excuse me, not the quarterback. It is what it is. Here's my critique with Derek Carr. So he's under pressure. He's going to try and throw the ball away. Sure, absolutely the correct decision. However, as you see, I mean, he just doesn't get enough air under it, and this is going to get intercepted. That's not a good play. And to be honest, I mean, the sideline was right there. It's not that difficult to throw the football away in these situations. I get that, you're under pressure, couldn't quite get your all under it, but that was not a good play by Derek Carr. So there was that early on, which kind of killed what was looking to be a pretty promising drive. And then some of these other deep shots, they weren't hitting. And again, the first couple weeks of the season, they were hitting on these, and now it's gone away. And I think that's kind of what I want to explore, is why have these gone away? Well, for one thing, I mean, they just need to execute these plays better. This one, you're going to have a route that, starts off as though it's going deep over the middle, but then cuts back towards the sideline, which is a good route. And when Carr takes the snap, he runs a play action. The offensive line does hold here, and firing down the field, this concept has worked. I mean, there is a window right here. And again, I think one of Carr's probably most underrated aspects over his career has been his deep ball. I mean, when he was sort of an MVP candidate with the Raiders that one year, like the number one attribute was the deep ball. Here, though, this one's just a bit off, right? Not horribly off, but just a bit off. And because of that, they're not able to get completion, which that was open. And again, in the Cowboys game, really both the first two games of the season, they were hitting on these. They were making these plays work. Here, not so much. This was another one, a key spot in the game, actually. This is a 3rd down and 8 late in the game. Game's not over if you missed this, but you would really like to hit this. I mean, being able to pick up a first down, even if you don't get a touchdown here, if at the very least, if you can get 3, that would go a long way. But hey, a route like this, down the field, one-on-one matchup, it could be a touchdown for sure, or at least it could be a big play that helps set up a touchdown. Carr takes the snap. He's going to look over, sees the one-on-one matchup, does throw this one fading away. I almost wonder if there's a bit of phantom pressure going on right now, which is not a good sign because, there wasn't any pressure up the middle. He kind of reacted as though there was, though. Is this open? Not really. But again, keep in mind the situation. It's a 3rd down and 8 here, down 10 points, just outside field goal range. You got to give your receiver a chance. And Carr just doesn't here. So again, those first 2 games of the season, they were hitting these. Like, that's the thing. That's kind of the biggest difference right now, I think, is there's other little things we can look at. There's injuries. There's all that stuff. But they're also just missing these. And when they were playing the Dallas Cowboys early on this season, when they were playing the Carolina Panthers early on this season, they were hitting these. And some of these decisions just aren't smart by Carr. This one is not a smart decision. It's a cover 2 zone. And, again, on paper, this could work. You have a receiver who's going to try and get into a gap in coverage. It's Rashid Shaheed, who, again, he's their guy, right? Trying to split the safeties right here. Carr takes the snap. He's going to look over, and he says, sure, 3rd and 13, let's take this chance. This one actually a good throw from Carr. The issue is that the Chiefs have this completely covered. I mean, there's really 2 Chiefs players that have a better chance of making this catch than Shaheed does. There was some contact. Looks like that safety almost pulled off a bit of a veteran move of, looking at the ball, playing the ball, but stepping in front of Shaheed and then slowing down, which by rule isn't a penalty. Although we've seen less get called. Let's be honest. But still, interesting stuff there. But really, I think at the end of the day, that could have been an interception, which wouldn't have been the end of the world. But still, again, not hitting on these plays, right? It should be mentioned, they did hit on one. This was not a 0 for day, but it was a 1 for 9 or 10 day, where you see right here it's a deep shot against cover 2 once again. It's Rashid Shaheed. It's essentially the exact same play as last time. Carr takes a snap, but this time the deep shot, they weren't as prepared for it. The Chiefs were. Not really sure why, but you see right here Shaheed is wide open on this one. Carr is going to be able to hit this throw, and they're able to get a big play, get into the end zone for a touchdown. And again, you see why these plays can be effective. I mean, turning a 10-score lead into a 3-score lead, that's a big deal. But we can go back and show a couple more. I mean, like this one, again, you have a deep shot towards the outside. Carr is going to take the snap. He looks in that direction, fires in that direction. Again, a clean pocket. Is this wide open? No. But keep in mind, this is Kansas City. Like, they don't give you a lot of wide open stuff, right? It's not a horrible route or anything like that, I don't think. And they even nearly hit on this. I mean, that was pretty close. I mean, I think the receiver even caught the ball, just was out of bounds. So, like, they had a couple, like, oh, that was almost there, which I think is optimistic if you're a Saints fan, because, like, shows that it's not like you can't make these plays, it's just that you weren't. This one, another one where, again, it's going to be a one-on-one matchup, and that's part of why the Saints kept trying this, is because they had these one-on-one matchups on the outside. Carr takes the snap. They're going to run a play action. He looks on the outside and fires on the outside right here. And listen, is there a huge window? No, but Carr, throughout his entire career, has been the kind of guy where he'll give a receiver a chance. He'll say, I'll trust you to try and make a play if you have a one-on-one down the field. As you see, it didn't quite work out. This was Rashid Shaheed once again, just not quite able to make the play. So again, you have one or two of those flip, and this is a different game. That is kind of the thing you look at if you're a Saints fan as well. Okay, we had been hitting like maybe 3 or 4 of these a game. Then we went down to be hitting only 1. Like, you hope that ratio gets back to 3 or 4, and then you can start to make things work a little better. And then finally, of course, I have to talk about the 4th down and 8 play. And this was the play also that Carr got banged up on, which sucks. But anyway, the way this play is designed to work is it's a all-out blitz by the Kansas City Chiefs. They're sending the house, 4th down and 8. They're forcing Derek Carr to have to throw one up and hoping that their defensive back can beat the receiver that Carr throws to. For Derek Carr, Mason Tippmann's route is the one he's going to look towards, which, I have to say, maybe a bit of a questionable decision right here. Although, in fairness, I mean, you look at, it's not like the other players had been winning on these shots down the field consistently this game, and you get a pretty favorable matchup. It's Nazeez Johnson who's going to be covering Tippmann. So maybe it's, not a horrible idea to say, you know what, it's not really about him being my best receiver, but it's sort of about that being the, maybe not the corner you're the most afraid of in this situation. Carr's going to take the snap right here. There's an all-out pressure, and again, as I said, unfortunately, takes a big hit, does get banged up, and is going to have to miss a couple weeks. That sucks. But the play itself, honestly, this is a pretty good throw from Derek Carr. I mean, watch what happens. Tipton is going to, he drops the ball. Granted, I think you could say that with this ball being a bit closer towards the sideline, it essentially went over his head, and those are so hard to catch because you pretty much lose sight of it when it's directly over your head. So those are really hard. Drops happen all the time on those types of throws. I think, you would have, in a perfect world, you would have liked to see that ball just be a touch more towards the middle of the field, or seen Tipton adjust to it a little bit earlier. But again, given the pressure and everything, this is about as good of a throw as you're going to get in this situation. It was a catchable ball. Tipton just wasn't able to make the grab. Again, they make that catch. Now all of a sudden they're in, at the 12-yard line. They can potentially score a touchdown, make it a 3-point game with 9 minutes left. Like, it's a different game. So yeah, that's kind of my overarching point, is that with the deep shot, what went wrong? Well, a lot went wrong in this. They missed a lot of them, but if you can just hit on a couple more in future weeks, and again, Carr's going to be out for a bit now, so, maybe it's Spencer Rattler who has to hit on these, I don't know. But maybe if Carr can come back before too long, and because again, unfortunately, they have a bad time for a short week as well, as they play the Buccaneers Sunday, and then the Broncos the following Thursday, so that is tough, and they could drop both of those games, but once Carr gets back, they will still be competing for a playoff spot. They will be doing what they can. even if they lose, a couple games. And being able to hit on these deep shots could be a big way to, be able to rack up some wins. That's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.